storm in Acadiana. Snow blanketing northern parishes.
The roads are pretty miserable. They're wet and they're icy.
Further south, the roads are salted to fight the ice, and as the wintry precip moves on out, freezing temps are here to stay. Complete team coverage right now on KATC.
Live from the KATC TV3 studios, this is Acadiana's news channel at 5.
And good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. For the second time in just 4 days, an unprecedented winter storm dumped sleet, snow, and freezing rain across Acadiana.
There are road closures and curfews in place. We'll get to that in just a bit. But first, Rob kicks off our team coverage. Rob, what's the very latest?
Well, the very latest is the northern parishes hit hardest throughout the day today. It's been a little tardy on getting farther to the south, but icing up big time across the I-10 corridor as we speak. And as we look at the radar right now, we'll see plenty of precipitation dropping across the area, and where we're seeing yellow, this is very heavy sleet. So we're seeing that right along I-10 from Lafayette through southern Acadia and certainly southern Jeff Davis and Cameron Parish. This activity is moving generally to the east-northeast. Now we have seen an eroding of most of the precipitation in northern parishes, maybe a little snow flurry here up toward Beauregard Parish, but the problem that we're going to see is icy conditions staying with us and getting worse. I-10 corridor and farther to the south. Now, as we put the radar satellite composite in motion, we've been watching this storm system spanning across the entire Gulf Coast. It's been on and off, mostly light sleet, but it has become more moderate to occasionally heavy right along the I-10 corridor. So far, about 1/4 of an inch of accumulations locally, more to the north, and it looks like these precipitation chances will gradually end during the evening hours. Bitterly cold, temperatures in the lower 20s tonight, wind chills in the lower teens, maybe single digits, but at least some sun tomorrow. We should get above freezing shortly after the noon hour tomorrow afternoon. But between now and then, staying very icy. Coming up, we'll take a look at area-wide accumulations and what we can expect over the next several hours later in the show.
All righty, thank you, Rob. As you heard Rob mention, the northernmost parishes in Acadiana, specifically Evangeline and St. Landry, seeing the most accumulations of snow and ice.
And our crews are everywhere tonight. Daniel Phillips continues our team coverage. He's live in Evangeline Parish. Daniel.
Thanks, guys. The original plan for the live shot today is we were going to set up in Ville Platte, but we drive this big van, and that's what we take to set up these shots. And the road was just not good enough for that van to drive on. Very icy. You can see behind me, and take a look. There's a light dusting of snow just covering the road. You cannot see any of the markings there. And then when you walk out towards the road, it is completely iced over. So you have a road of ice with a little bit of snow, and it's just not great for driving at all. There is ice all over the place, and what you see on the ground, in fact, doesn't look like it's going anywhere. There's a drainage ditch that's just right behind me, and you could tell earlier on today there was a big puddle of water pooling up. Well, it is completely frozen over, and things don't look to be getting warmer anytime soon. In fact, temperatures have been sitting in the mid-20s. When the wind blows, which has been fairly often, you're seeing the wind chill get down to 10 degrees, single digits at times, and it's only going to get colder as we go on through the rest of the night. So what you see here, and there is a little bit of icy snow, the ice as well, not going to be going anywhere, certainly not for the first half of the day tomorrow. It's going to take a little while for things to warm back up enough to melt what's already been fallen. So reporting live from what certainly feels like the Arctic, I'm Daniel Phillips for KATC TV3.
Thank you, Daniel. We're glad you stopped where you did. Safety first. Well, the Atchafalaya Basin Bridge remains shut down at this hour. Here's a look at the bridge, accumulating a little more snow. Each hour it remains closed, and there's no timetable for when the basin will be reopened.
The public is doing a great job at supporting us in our mission. That mission being, staying home, even though it's going to be 48, maybe 72 hours that you're going to be there. But what it's doing is it's allowing us to make sure that we focus on those critical emergencies that we respond to make sure that people's lives remain safe.
In the city of Lafayette today, only one bridge is closed, Ambassador Caffrey near Cameron Street. Police shut it down because of ice accumulating on the elevated highway.
Well, just minutes ago, Public Works crews wrapped up another round of salt and sand on Lafayette bridges. The first round was before daybreak this morning. And as a result, those bridges stayed open today, but it's a much different scene than what we saw Friday when all the bridges had to be shut down because of slippery conditions. As our Carrie Beal reports, it's a lesson learned from round one of this storm on Friday.
For those who couldn't avoid driving, this salt and sand meant one less headache.
The last freeze that came through, the bridges were closed, and it threw everybody for a loop. Traffic was backed up. It was like a 45-minute wait to get just across Lafayette. So I think this is going to help out a lot with the traffic overall.
The bridges stayed open because of an early morning operation to salt and sand these 7 bridges. Tom Carroll is LCG's Public Works Director.
We're just going to sit and monitor, and if need be, we'll be prepared to put more salt later in the day.
Carol said, do not panic if you hit ice tonight. The first thing you should do is take your foot off the gas pedal and do not hit the brakes.
Drivers have to be very cautious. They need to go very slowly. Some of these bridges are in curves, so they especially careful if the bridge is in a curve or the bridge is elevated.
And with temperatures expected to stay below freezing, ice is still a big danger.
The roads are pretty miserable. They're wet and they're icy. Some parts you don't know if it's ice or if it's water.
The best way to defeat the sleet? Simply stay at home with warm gumbo and king cake as a treat. Reporting in Lafayette, Carrie Beal, KATC TV3.
In Iberia Parish, the concern once again this snow day, bridges. All traffic is being diverted around the overpasses on Highway 90. But the Iberia Parish Sheriff's Department is encouraging drivers to stay off the roads.
We're not going to shut down any businesses. We're not going to stop anyone from going to work or having any official business like that. So, but as of right now, we have not enacted a curfew.
Opelousas saw a light dusting of snowfall this morning. Officials there say travel along northern sections of I-49 is especially hazardous where ice has built up along the side of the road. Viewers tell us those icy conditions started all the way in Mississippi and stretch west to Texas.
Started out this morning just snowed and then it slowly turned to ice, and then there for a stretch on 10 it was all right, but ever since I've been further and further it's been just getting worse.
And here's a look at one of the accidents on I-49 today. This tractor trailer overturned near mile marker 40. That's in an unincorporated area of St. Landry Parish. Now, this crash has since been cleared and no injuries were reported there. A little further down I-49, just south of Opelousas, troopers are investigating this accident. It shut down a portion of the interstate southbound for a short time today, and once again there, no injuries were reported.
We have new road closures just into our newsroom. Mills Road at I-10 overpass in Scott is closed, and Reno at Ambassador Caffrey near Cowboys nightclub. Now Reno at Mills Road in Scott, that's closed as well. And Highway 90 East Bridge over Highway 182 in Broussard were all just shut down. And looking at more road closures in the area, in Iberia Parish, Highway 90 between Crowley and Rain closed. The Mermentau Bridge also closed, and in Crowley, the John N. John overpass, which is Highway 13, is closed. Also, parts of I-49 remain shut down in Alexandria. This includes a stretch from exit 80 to 94 and the Boyce and Gillis Long bridges. I-210 eastbound and westbound through Lake Charles closed because of ice. And in Morgan City, the Highway 90 bridge has closed. Police say ice is starting to accumulate. They advise you to use the Highway 182 bridge if you absolutely have to travel. But again, authorities are asking you not to get on the roadway as travel has been tricky to say the very least, and not just on the ground.
Yeah, that's right. The New Orleans airport is staying closed at least through tomorrow, and in Lafayette, no one is coming or going. Our Allison Bourne-Vanek finds out when things will start back up again.
Technically, the airport is open, but as of now, all arrivals and departures have been canceled, and those decisions have been made by the individual airlines who are putting safety as a #1 priority. And from the looks of it, most travelers today are aware of the cancellations and have left the airport for today. But now the big question is about tomorrow and when will flights be back on schedule. But that, according to airport officials, will depend on Mother Nature.
Temperatures tonight will plunge, and what happens tomorrow will depend on when flights may, emphasis on may, start into and out of Lafayette. If the runways are clear and clean, if they feel like they can put their assets in here and operate safely, that's the #1 thing, safety, then the airlines may begin operating as early as noon tomorrow.
If your flight was canceled today, airport officials say the best thing to do is to call the individual airlines and find out the most up-to-date information on when your flight is back on schedule. At the Lafayette Regional Airport, I'm Alison Bornfinack for KATC TV3.
New curfews in effect tonight, an expansion of some already announced across Acadiana. St. Landry and Evangeline parishes will have a curfew both tonight and tomorrow from 6 p.m. until 6 a.m. Evangeline announced that extra day after getting the majority of Acadiana snow today. And in Acadia and St. Martin parishes, a curfew will be enforced tonight from 6 p.m. until 6 a.m. That's dusk till dawn. In addition, the police department in Jennings has announced they'll be enforcing a citywide curfew tonight starting at 10 o'clock until 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. And Kaplan has announced a curfew tonight from 6 until 8 tomorrow morning. Knock on wood, but so far the power has been staying on for many families in Acadiana. But in case the lights do go out, here are a few reminders for you. Live wires can be deadly, so stay away from downed power lines. And call immediately to report any downed power lines that you might see. Don't trim trees or remove debris on or near downed power lines. And do not run a generator without adequate ventilation. And finally, don't use candles or other flammable devices to warm the inside of your home.
Basile residents are being asked to conserve water for the next 2 days to try to avoid a boil advisory. Leaders at City Hall are asking residents to turn off water at the meter, then drain the pipes so they don't burst. Call Basile City Hall if you need help doing that. Nearly 2,600 Prairie Rhone water system customers are under a boil advisory. Officials say the system lost water pressure because of the extremely cold weather, and they add that the pressure will continue to fluctuate until this cold snap does end. And don't forget, throughout this winter storm, you can find updates anytime over at KATC.com.
And this just into our newsroom. I-10 eastbound in Jennings is being closed to all traffic. Motorists will be detoured if heading in that area. And still ahead on Acadiana's News Channel at 5, our weather coverage continues. We'll take you to the Big Easy, where the Big Easy is seeing a big chill. That story at 5:25. But up next, when will we finally thaw out? Rob's full forecast next.